Queen's Coming Podcast. Hey, hey, let's go. Queen's Coming Podcast. Hey, hey, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Queen's Comic Podcast. I'm Billy Bombs.
I'm Ian.
And on this week's episode, we're going to talk about our misadventure and one of the hardest weekends I think we've ever had collecting books. It was rough, but Ian actually had a good story at the beginning because you went to Streetside Anthony on Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, so our friend Matthew, I picked him up at the train station in my neighborhood at 8 o'clock. We were in the Bronx by 20 after. There was no traffic. And Anthony was generous enough to open up a little early for us. And we did some shopping there. It was great. We hung out for an hour. There's always a good crew of people there. And I didn't get a million books, but I got first appearance of Crush.
Nice book.
I got Avengers Terminatrix Objective #1. I know there's
I like those foils.
some key significance to it, something to do with Kang. I haven't read it yet. I got the McFarlane issue of All-Star Squadron. I've always wanted this book. I'm not like a hardcore McFarlane guy, but something about this cover. I don't know. I like it.
No, it's a cool cover, man, because he's all spread out and it's got the whole, like, was it the, what do they call that? The Eye of Isis or something like that? Or
Yeah, the Ankh.
the hunk. That's literally how you pronounce Ankh, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And then last week you told me I needed to get some Byrne Fantastic Four in my life, so I picked that up.
So good.
I love the cover on that one, too. Haven't read it.
Hell yeah.
It's been a crazy busy couple of days. I haven't read much of anything. And then the book I'm happiest to have gotten is Deviate #1, which is the variant cover. Well, it's in a Mylar, too, so the camera's not picking it up well. It's a variant cover by Dave Stevens and Adam Hughes collaborating.
That's a dope cover.
Which is pretty cool, yeah. And then after that, he and I went to Midtown Comics, basically to pick up my books. He dug around in downstairs in the dollar bins. I found one book in the dollar bin that I wanted, Guardians of Justice and the O-Force #1.
Nice, nice.
I don't know if you ever watched the Power Comics YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure they covered this one.
I don't. I gotta check it out. I'm actually gonna write that down because I keep missing out on stuff.
You should, yeah. It's Evan Husney, the guy who does Behind the Ring. It's his channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's ridiculous. I mean, look at that cyborg guy in the middle there. He's kicking everyone's ass. So I'm excited to read that. And then after that, where did we go, Billy?
Oh, this is all gonna be all story time. So I'm sorry to say it to everybody listening or watching. Crack a beer because that's the only way you can. We went to Joe Koch warehouse, and this was our second class trip. I think this time was around 12 guys showed up.
Yeah, it was more than last time.
Yeah, definitely. But it was a hard time. One guy found a Dave Stevens book. I found a few books, but everything was overpriced. The guy was like eBaying every single book. It wasn't Joe Koch himself. It was one of his employees.
Yeah, Joe
but
wasn't
it was too
there.
rough that some guys were like, yo, I don't want nothing, bye. And it took 30 minutes to ring out one person.
It wasn't good. I mean, for those who have never been there, the vast majority of books in that warehouse are not priced. The vast majority of them aren't even bagged and boarded.
Yeah.
So you will spend hours, multiple hours, digging through hundreds, if not thousands, of long boxes, floor to ceiling. You'll find books you want, but you're not really going to know what you're going to pay for them until you go check out. Depending on who's running the checkout at the time, you might get a great deal, or you might be paying eBay prices, or you might be paying more than eBay prices. So
yeah, one book was like $170. That was a $17 eBay sale.
Yeah.
The guy was like, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I had to take a walk.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was getting mad. One of our guys, this guy named Calamity Comics, just told him keep all the books. I'm getting too sick from waiting, and he got mad and started arguing with him. I said, dude, he's wearing a mask. And he has to wear like a fibrillator mask. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, if you're asthmatic, don't go anywhere near that place.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that place is ever going to close. So I doubt anything. I don't know. It was so annoying.
Right.
But
yeah, when I went
things for myself.
Sorry, go ahead.
I found a few things for myself, but everything has to be PC if you pick up in there because if you're a flipper, you're gonna have a heart attack. So don't just get what you want.
Yeah, I grabbed a handful of books that I have beside me here. I figured we'd talk about what we got. But before we do that, yeah, the checkout experience was I think fucking miserable is accurate.
Yeah.
Matthew and I went and checked out at the same time. It took about 35 minutes for the two of us to get rung up. He wound up putting some books back because the prices were bonkers.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing to get books like that.
It is.
Because you're like, I don't want to pay this price.
No, it is. But you're kind of on the spot. And it's a very weird feeling. And I've walked out of comic stores before where they price stuff at the counter, but we went into this knowing that that's how they do it there. But to be fair to them, when we were there a couple of months ago and Joe was doing the pricing, it was great. He was a happy, friendly guy. He was cutting deals for everybody. He was really excited to have a bunch of people poking around in his warehouse and buying books. With Joe not there and his employee handling things, it was very different. The employee wasn't, I wouldn't say he was miserable. He wasn't rude to me or anything like that, but he wasn't friendly. He wasn't going out of his way to make us feel welcome.
Yes.
And when you've got 12 comic nerds in there, potentially willing to drop $100 to $200, $300 each, maybe clean up your act. Like he walked away from potentially thousands of dollars of sales that day.
Yes, it was brutal.
It was.
I got very little books. I'm like pulling them out now, and I'm just like, oh, I had more of an adventure in Brooklyn, in Long Island, than dealing with him. It just depressed me,
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, show off what you got, because I have some dude who won't stop calling me. I'm like, hey, relax.
All right. So the biggest book I got, and he gave me this for $20, which I was happy with. Actually, I was legitimately happy with. Now it's not a 9.8 candidate, but it's in nice shape. It needs to be cleaned a little bit because everything in that place needs to be cleaned. So it's a little dusty, but it's the Caliber Christmas special.
That's a beautiful book. You were telling me about it.
It has an early James O'Barr Crow story in it. So that's why I wanted that one. And for $20, all right, that was fair given the condition that it's in. I didn't object to that. And then this one he gave me for 10. Quack #1 by Star Reach. This has very early Dave Stevens artwork in it. It's so early that it's not even recognizable as his art, but I've been after it for a while. It's also got a great Frank Brunner cover, and I like Frank Brunner's art. So for $10, I was happy with that until I got home and realized it has back cover damage and it's a second print.
Wow.
But that's my fault for not looking at the book more carefully before saying yes to the offer. Everything else in my pile, and then I got an issue of Cherry Pop-Tart.
Oh yeah, the one I pulled out. I'm glad that you got something.
Yeah, this one's in really nice shape. He did $10 on this one. I'll strategically place my fingers over the back cover to keep this PG-13, but it has Steven Tyler from Aerosmith on the back.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty wacky. He's interviewed on the last page by Cherry in character. It's dumb.
It's fun.
It's fun, but it's dumb. And then everything else was $3 each. So I got Necrophagia #1, which is an early London Night Studios book. One of the few non-Razor related titles that they did. It's a collection of horror titles. It's got a Lovecraft adaptation in the back. It's got a cool back cover with a bunch of skeletons on it.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I like that. And then I got Fantastic Fables #2, which has a great Tim Vigil story in it.
Nice.
It's in very nice shape. I was surprised how nice it looks. And yeah, for $3, no complaints there. I got the variant cover for Tim Tyler's Devil Jack #1. I had the regular cover. I didn't have the Virgin variant cover, so $3. All right. On Saturday, I was missing 2 issues of the second volume of Death Rattle. I found one of them that I needed for $3, so I'm now 1 issue away from completing that run. It's not an easy run to finish.
I believe it, because I've never seen some of them.
Another run that I'm working on is Tim Tyler's Blood Rain. Again, I was missing 2 issues. Now I'm down to 1. My finger is placed here for strategic purposes once again. Anybody who's into Faust and the gory kind of outlaw comic stuff that Quinn and Vigil were doing, Tim Tyler inked the early Faust issues. This is kind of his solo series. It's in a similar vein. It's gory with a lot of sex and violence in it. I'm also a mark for anything Basil Wolverton. So when I found Wolverton Intense #2, which reprints a bunch of his Golden Age work, again for $3, not gonna leave it there. Look at those giant eyeballs. That guy's
That's
screwed.
awesome.
He's screwed. He's in so much trouble. Those eyeballs are gonna get him. And then we all got a copy of this, I think, or at least the people who didn't just drop everything and leave because they got pissed off got a copy of this. But I found a stack of Crazy Man #1s.
Yeah, I
And
put that away. I was trying to remember what I bought, and I forgot that one.
right. Well, who cares about Crazy Man #1, right? Until you look at that and you're like, oh, Neil Adams
all
signed it.
signed by Neil Adams.
Yeah, we found a small stack of those. So $3 each. He probably didn't notice the signature, or he would have probably charged us $50 for that, but whatever. And then the last issue that I picked up was Inner City Romance Comics #2.
I got that same book.
Yeah, I got actually, I think he might have charged me $5 for this one, but either way, that's fine.
Yeah, he charged me 10 for it.
What?
He charged me 10 for it.
Maybe he liked me better.
Yeah, it's okay. We ain't going back.
Yeah.
That part of Brooklyn is not going to see our faces for a while.
Yeah. And he wanted 60, I think it was like $63, $62 for the pile. And I said, how about 50 cash? And he hummed and hawed. And I said, otherwise I'll leave it. And he said, okay.
What a pain in my butt.
Yeah.
This is what I grabbed. Like, of course, I grabbed the Radical book the same as you.
Mm-hmm.
So took me for then I got this one because I like the artwork. Harold Head, Hitler's Cocaine.
Yeah, I got that book.
Yeah. Copy of Shogun Warriors #1.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, nice condition. Twisted Tales #9.
Nice.
Dr. Atomic 6.
Oh, cool. So you went all in on the undergrounds.
Yeah, I have a few more, but like I didn't go too crazy. And then this was the big one for me. It was Kurt's Comics.
Yeah, I'm jealous over that one. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, why not? But the funny part is, because it was free comic book day, we went out to go get comics at St. Mark's Comics. Me, you, and the other guys went earlier. But what was your free comic book day book?
I didn't get any.
You didn't get any? Yeah. That was kind of a pain in the butt because when I got my stuff, I got 2 trade paperbacks. I got a DC Preview Guide as my free comic book day book.
Yeah, it's not a free comic book day book. That's an ad.
Yeah. I was like, yo, you got to be kidding me, buddy. But I let it go. But I messed up a little bit because it was I want to say like it was a bunch of books on the table that I wanted. But I was like, yo, is this week's books? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, you sure? And they're like, yeah. So I grabbed them. But then I had to call them back and be like, oh, hey, I got one book that's not new. It's old. It's like it's way older than it was, you know? And I tried to return it. And I acted like a little child about this because I feel like kind of pissy about it. They made me feel like I was a crook returning books. Because all I did was exchange a book one day later. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, I don't need this kind of hassle. You know how it is. You go to that store, it's always a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a pain in the ass for no reason. And they're like, oh, you always do this to us. And I said, I've been coming here for 31 years. I've never returned a single book. I'm exchanging one book that is from January that you told me was this week's release. It was EC Comics. I returned it. I got another book. I thought it'd be the end of it, but then one of the employees like read me the riot act on the way out, and I was like, all right. I was like, I'm never coming back again. I was like, goodbye, 30 years. Congratulations on your 1 year free rent here. If they ever hire me for this building, I'm going to step on your neck because I've applied for the Industry City before, and I've had minor job offers there. But if I go in there, I'm gonna drive my foot their ass. That's the only way because you have everything handed to you and you're still a jerk. You know what I mean? I try not to be. I'm trying not to be negative anymore, but like it's hard. Yeah. Old comic book people make it hard. You want to be a collector? Don't get me wrong. Some dudes are such hardcore flippers that they fight with everybody. I don't think I'm that guy. Especially when it's trade paperbacks. I'm like, oh, I'll buy every week. Right. I always come in for the same stuff. Let me finish my EC. I go to Forbidden Planet for Judge Dredd complete case files. I go to certain stores for certain things. I get my Ninja Turtles from Everyone Comics. I get my Usagi Yojimbo from Royal Collectibles. I am like clockwork, you know what I mean? But everybody's different, right? Oh, and then I get weird indie books from Anyone Comics because they just get weird shit, and I love it.
Well, it's like,
and then so forget those guys. Enjoy whatever the hell you do over there because it stinks. But that part of Brooklyn has been nothing but problems.
Well, it's. I've told you the story before. I'm not going to name the store because I don't want to damage the reputation. They're a small business, and it could have just been a bad day for the owner, though I've had other unpleasant experiences with them in the past. I went to a store once, and there was an issue on the so above the new issue rack, all right, there was some plastic, I guess, like little shelving things on the wall, and there were some back issues
On the slats.
Yeah, slats, that's the right word. There were some back issues up there, and I was like, oh, that's issue 5 of a 5-issue miniseries that I'm looking for. I don't have that one. In mint condition, it's like a $7-8 book tops.
Yeah, max.
And but it's flipping over the slat, so it's got creases and ticks on it and stuff. But I just want to finish the story. I'm not a condition snob. I never have been. I'm happy to just finish my run. And so I pulled it off and I brought it up to the counter with my stack of other books, and I got like 30 books out of the $2 section, and so I had $60 worth of stuff. And then I was going to get this other book, but there was no price on it. So I simply asked him, hey, how much do you want for this book? And he said, oh man, you're trying to scam me. And I said, what? He said, you know this book is hot right now. It's on a bunch of top 10 lists. And I said, I'm not like a big mainstream superhero guy. I follow this stuff, but not super closely. I'll put it back. If you don't want to sell to me, I'll put it back. And he's like, don't pull that shit with me. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. And I don't really know what he was accusing me of. I really don't. But he was in a mood. And so I said, all right, fine. Here, keep that book. I'll take the other stuff that I picked out and have a nice day. And that was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
And you've never gone back. And
I've never bought anything else from that store again.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who spends a lot of money on comic books. And I'm generally a pretty friendly guy. And I don't think I was in the wrong to ask how much a book costs when there's no price on it. And to be then accused of trying to run some sort of scam? Like, come on, comic stores need to get their customer service act together. Say what you will about Midtown. Most of the people who work at Midtown are at least friendly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't get along with one guy in there as a manager, but I think he was the same.
I'm talking about the guys at the counter. Most of the guys at the counter are pretty nice. I know the manager you're talking about. I've never had a problem with them. I'm actually kind of surprised that you did, but
well, the girl I had a fight with at St. Mark's was from the same country, which kind of made me mad.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, small world.
Mm-hmm.
And like I understand multiple languages. So like from growing up, like when you're Albanian, you always hear different languages because we're like nomadic to some part of Eastern Europe. And I'm not gonna say what country it is, but if you know Albanian, you know the one people we always fight with anyway. So they're both from there. So let's let it be from that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, the story you're talking about, and we're not going to name names because they're schmucks, and we're not going to ruin it for the employees there. Because that's the thing. People need a job, so you don't want to ruin a store for anybody. But sometimes you got to get pissed.
Right.
That store that pissed you off is the store that was supposed to be in Industry City first.
Yeah.
I was supposed to build out the store, and he turned it down. That's how I knew it was a 1-year free rent.
Ironically enough, the store I'm talking about, I was their first ever customer. I don't know if you know that or not. The day they opened, I was the first person to buy something in that store.
Damn. Morons.
It's close to me. It's closer than the Midtown Annex where I pick up my books every week. It would have probably have become my local comic shop.
Oh yeah. If you had one friendly day there to start off, you'd be getting your weekly there. I just set up Ninja Turtles with them because like I don't know what to get from them. I get oh, sorry. I've had like a weird day of working and I just coughed up funny. I don't feel so great. I picked up Basic Instinct from them.
Yeah.
Which is an odd book.
It is an odd book. I read the first 2 issues.
Yeah, you were with me when we got the preview at New York Comic Con.
Yes, your friend worked on it.
Yeah, both my friends still work on it. Michaela Valerio and Vanessa Del Rey. And I'm happy for them. But actually, they're going to come up in another part of the story, too, from this weekend. Because I bought a lot of stuff at Hot Flips, which is a Sunday show.
How was that show?
For me, selling-wise, wasn't so great because I didn't really bring, like, the best stuff. But I bought so much good stuff that I'll always go back to, like, be a buyer. I got a lot of Dave Stevens books. And, like, they were $1, $2, $3. I picked up a lot of oddball books. I'll show them off. Here, like I got this book. It's like a Chaos Gallery book.
It looks like a Boris Is that a Boris cover?
I don't know. Usually it's signed Boris, but I can't find it.
If it's
But
not,
it
he's
looked like
working
a
with somebody
Boris
doing a
cover.
very
That's
good
why I grabbed
imitation.
it. For $1, you can't say no.
Yeah.
You know. And then I got this one, which is I like Witchblade, so I pick up anything with her. But then I started getting some really good books. He gave it to me for $4. This guy, it was a Rocketeer cover.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was cool. You know, I'm a big fan of Carmine Infantino.
Yeah.
So anything that he does, I will pick up. A Brave and a Bold.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. He'll always be one of my favorite art. I am trying to figure out some way to get tattooed one of his works, but it's hard to get like a girl that he does that's not very cheesy.
Okay.
Because I want to get the Batgirl cover he did, but it's her ripping the seams of her stockings. And I thought this is the most 50s, 60s bullshit I've ever seen in my life. And then I got the Harley Quinn Jailhouse Rock book.
I like that cover. There's a Wolverine variant that has him in the same pose.
Oh, I gotta get that then.
Yeah.
I will. I don't know if I got any Wolverine books in there, but I got another one. And then I found the book that was $100 to everybody else. Somebody gave it to me for $4.
Yeah, it's not $100 book. That shouldn't be.
Yeah, but when you go to comic conventions, it's everybody's wall is 75 to 100, and I was like, this is not that good.
I think I've got like 3 of those.
Yeah, I would have needed one from you for somebody. And then I started picking up random stuff like Wizard Pokemon books because I need to finish my Wizard collection. And the one guy had multiple copies of this, but this was the foil version of Wizard Half of Evil Ernie.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, I never seen a foil one, but if I see it next time, I'll grab you a copy of but they only had regular versions, not foil. Then I bought this online and the guy delivered it, Bags and Borbs for sale. The first Great Lake Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Spider Girl #1.
Nice.
And then here's a bunch of like oddball. Let me do all the Simpsons books I got. These are all from Bags and Borbs. Because usually these are all sold out everywhere. Bart Simpson's
You got those on the Instagram claim sale?
Yeah. And he brought them all to me, which is always great. And I should have finished Bartman now with this. But then here's a book I really wanted that I think you might have. Alien Worlds.
I don't know if I have that one or not. I have a bunch of them. I don't think I've finished that run, but someday I will.
Every cover, Alien Encounters.
Yeah.
Every cover is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what. A book, this is my guilty pleasure book I read a lot, is Green Lantern Corps Quarterly.
Cool.
And these are some of the worst books ever, but they're so much fun to read. I'll be straight up, you know me. Evil Ernie Zero, which you gotta tell me if you need this or not.
I still haven't looked it up. I'm sorry.
No problem. I just changed bags because I know
Great
you
cover.
need neither 1 or 0.
Oh, I need one of the Eternity series, the expensive one.
Gotcha. All right, it gets a little bit weirder here, but then this one you told me is a Steranko book.
Oh yeah, it has my favorite Steranko story in it.
Did not know that. I'm very happy to find this because I grabbed it because it's #1, and a lot of people are going crazy for this Bronze Age stuff, but I'm keeping it for myself.
You should flip that open on the camera and show off the splash page of the Steranko story with the Gravedigger on it.
Thank you. Yeah, this is pretty good. I won't rip. Hopefully, it's not damaged. Because that's the only problem when you find bronze books and you're like, sometimes I don't want to open it.
Yeah. No, I know everybody likes his Nick Fury work and his X-Men work, and obviously
There's a little bit of tear.
There you go. I understand why they love that work so much, but this story, it might have been my first exposure to his work. I picked it up when I was a kid because I was like, oh, cool old horror comic. I don't know, I probably paid like $1 for it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really taken aback by how cool the artwork was in it.
Yeah, he is definitely a brilliant.
Oh no, he's great. He's a crazy man, but his artwork is excellent. Yeah. That's it. You flip through that.
That's the splash page.
That's the splash page. Yeah, as you flip through it, you're gonna be impressed.
Yeah, dude, look at it.
Yeah.
But here's what bothers me about Marvel. Put this out in an epic collection. I want to read all of these because the quality is like so like these books are always well written. I mean, well read. And people destroy them. They love these books.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Boys are the worst. They'll destroy everything. Then I got a book that I've been looking for a minute, and you're gonna laugh at me for this one. The Mighty Atom starring Ready Kilowatts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was in
I
that
will
guy
not
with
make
the
fun of you
Dave
for that.
Stevens
I think
books.
that's awesome.
Yeah, no. But I always try and find these random weird books, and I love this one. It's oversized. It's very like because I'm not gonna lie to you. My house may look organized. It's completely not.
Hmm.
This is fucked up. Like everything is here, there, everywhere. But I love finding stuff like this. And one day I'm gonna figure out how to put this in order. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you and me both.
Oh, dude, forget it. When it comes to comics, like I have 2 boxes of still to put away or what to get rid of. And trust me, almost everything getting rid of is all Scotty Young stuff. Because somehow I always get that as a variant. I'm like, I don't even like it. I like the original artwork.
Yeah.
All right, and then I got this is like one of my favorite George Perez covers.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I
I
think
think
I
you
have
got
that
it
one.
one time, and I was like, "Ooh, I got to get that book."
I think I have
And
that one.
then here's I think this is a Catwoman Dave Stevens Who's Who book.
Yep.
So
He's
I
got
opened it up to check.
got
This
the
one, I'm
one-page illustration
guessing
in there.
I got this one. I don't know if he did anything. Oh, this is the Phantom Lady one. Yeah, he did this one.
Mm-hmm. He did
Yeah.
3. He did Phantom Lady, Catwoman, and Dolphin.
I got all 3 now. I got that, and then it turns out I have a copy of Vanguard. I bought the whole set for maybe $10 a year, like 6 months ago or 6 months before he got famous again.
Oh, so you
And
have
he did
that
the
cover
number 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think it's number 2.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how much of a big collection I have of his stuff.
It's got the girls with the ray guns trying to
Yeah,
get
I was
ship,
opening
right?
my I have those heavy, sturdy black boxes for stuff I care about, and I opened up to put away First Don Rosa's Scrooge McDuck, and I was like, oh, I have Vanguard. I was like, oh crap, I got all of this, and you said Jimbo 1 and stuff like that. I'm very happy for that. And the last book before I jump into another topic is Centurions number 1.
Oh, I remember that cartoon.
Yeah, dude, I still need one of these action figures. I just don't have $400 to waste on an action figure.
Are they that much money now?
Yes,
Wow.
if it's in the box, it's way more.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's another thing that happened. I just turned into Schwarzenegger with that. Yeah. Sorry. I met the guys from Carnivore Comics. What a bunch of nice men, like running their friends. Maybe it's a little crew. It's one guy with a staff, but the guy next to me worked with him for years, selling a Fantastic Four book. The first Doctor Doom 8.0, graded, signed by Stan Lee. And I was like, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And those guys, 7.0, not 8.0, but beautiful condition, great guys, great attitude, talking about comics and artwork. Give me 1 second. I gotta learn to be a ventriloquist.
I've seen them at shows, but I don't know that I've ever really interacted with them much. They have good stuff.
Their prices for their exclusive books are great. Even though it's $20, but you're like 500 of them. For me, usually I'm not a big fan of exclusives, but I'm a big fan of Gabriel Del Otto, which is one of their regular artists.
Okay.
And I was like, just hooked. That's it, man. I'm in because I have a tattoo on my leg of Highlander by Gabriel Del Otto. You know what I mean? So I got to get his other stuff.
Right.
And for $20, I can't say no. And we were talking about these are the guys who actually used to work with Stan Lee before. And then they have great stories. I would love to have them on and talk about some of this stuff, but you might be not allowed to because everybody got sued or something like that from that guy who was the manager.
Oh, yeah. Yes. You're talking about Stan Lee's manager.
Yeah, the guy who wouldn't leave them alone. So they were like, oh, we're just going to back away from it, which is the smartest thing to do in comics. Just back up.
Yeah.
Let whatever play out because, like you're doing the business. Other people are making little weird empires out of shit,
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the most like there's no no information they told me or nothing like that. But just the way they handled themselves was fucking awesome. And it taught me more from 5 minutes of talking to them about dealing with people than anything else. And then it was kind of weird. It was like in a weird show because a lot of guys were selling books. I won a PGX graded 9.8 Something's Killing the Children Free Comic Book Day book. And I was like, man, people grade anything. And I went into auction, and then I think Calamity won a photo of what's the name of the guy who plays Wrath of Khan?
Ricardo Montalban?
Yeah, he was so excited. I was outbidding him just to mess with him, and I was like, "Oh, wait, you really won?"
This was the auction at the end of the show.
Yeah, that raises money for the war veterans of the place. And I was like, "Yo, go for it! I'm not gonna bid no more." He got a signed photo from him with a COA, and I was like, "That's awesome." Because I got one of William Shatner, but I got to get one of I guess Khan. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. It's fucking funny. Um, what'd you do for your Sunday? Did you do any other comic book stuff?
No.
You just relax?
My Sunday, a friend of ours, her sons were born within a week. Well, they're 2 years apart, 3 years apart, but their birthdays are within a week of each other. So we went to their birthday party. It was absolute chaos. There were kids running around everywhere, and there were piñatas and a lot of crazy children yelling and screaming.
Dude, that's awesome.
But after that, oh, I'm sorry. Before that, we went back to Bello. I don't know if I told you, Bello's one of our favorite restaurants in Sunnyside, Queens, and we were just walking by, honestly, because it was on the way to our friend's house, and the waiter that we're friendly with there said, "Oh, you guys should come in. We got a jazz act going on," and we were like, "What's going on? All right, we'll check it out." And yeah, there was a guy in there playing his trumpet, doing he did Sir Duke, my favorite Stevie Wonder song. It's one of those songs as soon as you hear that song, you can't be in a bad mood. So we wound up having a quick lunch and a couple drinks there before the birthday party, and then we came home and watched TV.
I'm gonna add that to the playlist for the shows.
Oh yeah, start every show with that song. It'll get people hyped.
Okay. Sir Duke?
Sir
By
Duke,
who?
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've heard it. You may not know it, but you've heard it.
Fair enough.
Everybody's heard it.
One of the guys at the Hot Flip show is my buddy Oscar, who runs the Long Island hardcore shows, and he always posts bands from when me and him were like 18, 19. And I love hearing music I haven't heard in 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt so amped, and I realized how terrible that music sounds if I heard it for the first time now. But it reminded me of being like 18 again, and I love that.
No, I get that way too. The other day I don't remember what I was listening to on Spotify, but the album ended, and you know how it is on Spotify. When the album ends, Spotify just kind of plays whatever they think you want to hear. And sometimes it's cool because it'll introduce you to stuff you've never heard before. Other times it's not accurate at all. And Smashing Pumpkins came on. And
Oh, nice.
I didn't like Smashing Pumpkins in the 90s. I've never really cared for them very much. I like the guitar sound, but I don't like his vocals. Their music just doesn't do anything for me. And it came on, and I haven't listened to Smashing Pumpkins in years. And it came on, and I was like, oh man, I feel like I'm in college again.
What song was it?
I don't know. The World is a Vampire song.
That's the best song.
Yeah.
Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Sure.
Yeah. No. I remember hearing that, like, and watching the video, and that when Metallica came out with Until It Sleeps, that was my introduction to Metallica, my solo introduction. I know my dad played it when I was younger, music from Metallica or Danzig or Black Sabbath, but hearing it on your own, like, you feel like you're discovering it, is so cool. And then Bullet with Butterfly Wings was the other song. And instead of going towards grunge, I got into metal. So Thank God, like, because I'm definitely not a grunge person, but I can appreciate the music. You know what I mean?
See, the 10-year age difference from us. So my transition was like from hair metal in the 80s. That was like all over the radio. And I didn't have an older sibling to get me into cool music. And my mom liked the Beatles and Simon and Garfunkel. And my dad liked CCR and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And I don't really care about the Beatles. I don't like them. I don't hate them. I'm indifferent. Simon and Garfunkel, whatever. CCR, I love. Always gonna love. Blood, Sweat, and Tears, But so I had the radio. And growing up with the radio as kind of your guide, you listen to what's popular. So I liked the harder, heavier stuff, but what was on the radio at the time was hair metal. So, Poison, Cinderella, that type of stuff. And I liked it. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I still have a soft spot for some of that stuff. But then when grunge came around, it was like, whoa, this is way heavier. And it's because of grunge, and that, like, I guess it was a gateway to a lot of people for punk rock.
Yeah, most definitely, because you could see it there.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I didn't discover bands until I was looking for Metallica CDs. I was lucky to have a place called Numbers in Ridgewood that had music.
Yep.
And I would go there, and I would be like, oh, I want to get this. And they're like, oh, if you like this, check out Pantera. Or you check out Anthrax. You're like, all right, cool, why not? And this is kind of a pretty good, I want to say, like, transition into, like, future episodes that we're doing. In the future, for everybody listening, we're gonna actually have a lot of people in the hardcore scene come on the show and talk about music and comics
Yeah, it's
and
gonna be
get what
fun.
they're into.
I'm
And
really
it's just
looking forward
something
to that.
different because we realize that like we're nerds, but we grew up a little bit different than most nerds. Like I don't remember playing Dungeons and Dragons growing up, but I remember going to hardcore punk shows.
Well, I played
But I
Dungeons
used
and
to collect
Dragons and
comics.
I played Dungeons and Dragons and went to hardcore punk shows.
That's awesome. I had not a single friend into that. Not a single friend.
You know what?
Everybody
I
I
was
grew
in
up with
the
were Dragon Ball Z guys.
first year of high school. I was in the role playing game club, the D&D club, basically. But I only lasted like 2 meetings. I was nerdy, but I couldn't. It was too nerdy.
Yeah. Like we used to joke that a lot of the guys in Queen's Comic Party are too much jocks for nerds, and then when we go to like the sports games like Mets or something, we're too much of nerds for jocks. You know, we're like that sweet spot in the middle. Like all of us are into some stuff, and we know some crazy shit when it's about to pop off, but we like nerdy shit. We want
it's the nerdy interests that unite us all.
Yeah. And what's cool is I already talked to a few people that are going to jump on this. We actually have some psychedelic comic artists coming on soon too. And only thing is though, we're gonna have to do it out of the Brooklyn Invasion. We have the bar set up over there, so we're gonna try and do more stuff there.
Yeah.
So hopefully the video comes out good.
We'll bring some cameras in and shoot some stuff there. It'll be fun.
Yeah. We're gonna have some fun. Is there anything else that we have for this week?
Say that again.
We have anything else for this week?
Mother's Day comic show, May 12th, Woodside.
All right. Anybody, if you have nowhere to go, we're doing the comic show really for people that like they can't visit their mom, they can't do this. So we decided to do a comic art show for May 12th at the Woodside, Catholic War Veterans. We're kind of splitting up the shows a little bit because we realize there's Queens people and there's Brooklyn people. So John the Mailman is going to help run the Queens version of the show. So anybody who's off Sundays, one Sunday a month, we will always have a show in Queens. And then for all the people who are only off Saturdays, we have a Saturday morning show in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Invasion. So we're going to make sure that everybody has a place to be. We like being the third place for a lot of people every month. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you'll see all of us in both days because for this summer, it's going to be each day. But then we'll find out over time like a sweet spot where we can get first Saturday or first Sunday and then last Saturday, last Sunday, you know?
Yep.
You got to remember Queen's Comic Party is a community first.
Yes. And if you want details, go to the Queen's Comic Party Instagram page or check out queenscomicparty.com. We got a big show that we're working on for September, right?
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. How much time we got
Details to
left?
be confirmed.
No, how much time we got left?
Like a minute.
All right, I'll say this real quick. A lot of vendors who have been old school for this venue have said it's so cursed that if I pull this off, I should be a legend. But I was like, how come? And they said, it just doesn't matter. People quit. Now I haven't been called back in a few days, so I don't know what's going on. I'm not being a kid about it. Either way, we're going to do shows, but we were hoping to do our own convention. And if it's not today, will be another time.
Yeah, if that venue doesn't work out, we'll find another one. It's New York. There's lots of them.
It's always. The thing is, though, we're always persevering. We're always going forward because we never give up and we never surrender.
To end things on a positive note, Saturday, even though the Koch warehouse crawl wasn't what it should have been, and even though the St. Mark's comic experience wasn't great, we did eat some delicious burritos.
Forget about it. Great burrito. Guacamole on fire.
Taco Dirty to me in Industry City in Brooklyn. Support them.
And then we regret not getting Indian food, but we're gonna go back for that.
Oh, we're definitely going back for that. Yeah, we'll be back to Industry City. We just we'll be there for tacos and burritos instead of other stuff.
And book off. I need to get an Ultraman action figure.
Okay, yeah, we can do that too.
Fair enough. Cool. All right, so let's sign off. I'm Billy Bombs.
Queen's Comic Podcast.